Aloha, Schmelians fam. Back again today with a little drag clicking tutorial install. Thank you for taking the time checking this video out. I'll be doing a 24 Metanium DC, a 23 Antares, and a 22 Bantam. Generally, these reels, they're put together fairly the same. Sometimes the higher end reels have a flush look on the exterior side of the reel, so you won't see any screws. They'll be found on the inside of the reel towards where the spool is. After you take it out, most times you'll see the screws exposed then. So let's just jump on right into it. I've been waiting a little while to do this, and there's a couple of people who asked me for this video. Also, I'll be posting a short and linking the links as to where you can find these on eBay. Alright, let's jump right on into it and get these hands schmelly. Alright, let's get on into it. If you didn't change out your handle yet, you'll be dealing with a little screw holding in the retaining nut, and basically it'll be a 10 millimeter here instead of this. So let me get this. Sorry about that, guys. Let me turn that on silent. Alright. Be aware that this drag adjustment has this plastic plate here. So put that down. On the bottom of that plastic piece, there's a metal detent, basically, that creates the adjustment sound. Now, as far as this guy goes, it was pretty loose already, and I've done it and it's new. In some cases, you have a hard time spinning it off with your finger. Use a 13 millimeter. Get that guy right off. Yes, you do have to keep an eye out on the orientation. Like I said, I've done so much of these that I just know these guys like the back of my hand already. And get all of this guy off at once. For me, I like to stack the washers up in the orientation that it came off in. As far as this one, you don't have to take any of this, and it's flush around the edges, so the screws will be on the inside. Now, let me remove this cap. That off to the side there. Spool off to the side. And as you can see, there's a screw here, a screw here, a screw in there, and that basically should get this guy right off. So let's get that going. And be careful, especially if you've got a new reel. You don't want to scratch up your housing or anything. And like I was saying, this is 2024. There's no other tutorial videos on how to do it. So on that one, that's bottom. I think the two bottoms are probably going to be the same size. Nope. Shorter ones up front, longer ones in the back. And get this one. They torqued these ones down pretty good. Now, this guy's got some texture on it, and it's basically riding right where the spool would be. So I would recommend having one of these kits here. This kit that I bought is basically a phone repair kit. It has all the small drivers and extensions and everything in it. This one just happens to be a cobalt version, but I know that you can find these kits basically are pretty similar all over the place. Find the cheapest one you can find. Alright. The longest one's up top. The middle length one is in the back, and the shortest one is on the bottom and in the front. So we'll turn that over. That's all the screws that's there. Pop this guy up. And that's what we have. Okay. So these guys have aluminum gears. Well, not gears, aluminum main gear. And looks to be aluminum on the pinion gear, but looks like it has a pressed brass, which is kind of cool to see. Alright. Well, they have a felt carbon mesh, I believe. It's mixed for a smoother drag with it looks like a normal carbon text, but I don't know if they had infused these fibers with anything else prior or other than carbon. So we shall see. I don't have to touch any of this, so that stays the same. Let me get one of these. This guy here. Now, I don't throw away any of the original stuff, just in case there's a hiccup or anything with anything that comes off of these drag clicking kits, but I haven't had any issues. I'd say the only thing that I can see would be an issue is the glue that you use letting off of the gear, which would result in the cog gear spinning, which would result in the clicking not happening. And I'll get that for you. This guy's aimed downwards. I don't know if you can see that little tongue there. It's kind of hard, and I don't have a really good camera. This is a GoPro. I'm working on it. So there you go. You can see that lip there, down here. And that's actually what rides and tings over the cog gear. So let's get that there. And I'm gonna catch a whole lot of backlash. I use pen I use pen oil and grease, but I do know that it's thicker than the Shimano stuff. I know. But you'll see in a sec. This is going to fix all of that. That's usually about the amount that I use for a gear, cog gear install, and about 3 drops of oil. And I'll mix that up and get it nice and thin. You'll see it. It'll get pretty easy to work with, and that peak will kind of just like how whip will do. It'll stand up if it's too stiff still, or shall I say viscous. Now add one more. Yeah, I know you can. Sometimes it's hard to find that Shimano oil that comes in the actual reels. I haven't had any issues, and I do all of my own reel maintenance. As you can see, I open everything up and do everything myself, but every season I'll open it up and take a look at breakdown of the drag washers, and alright, that's about it. So that's ready, and what I need to do is some alcohol. I prefer, this says 70, but I just refilled this bottle because of this head. But anything over 90, I do recommend. Cuts that grease real good, takes it right off instead of smearing it around. So you just want to get this surface where the washer actually kisses the gear, because the main gear, the main cog gear that the kit comes with, is going to be glued to this. So, and I would say this is the most important part, because glue will not stick to anything, oil, grease. Okay, this is going to take off all of that. And this cog gear will actually have a side that's textured. It's not polished, so that your glue will have something to grab onto. For me, you don't, I feel like you might not have to do this, but I prep every single surface. Of course, you get a new surface, you still have alcohol on the inside of the rag, and you just get all of that pen off, and you'll see it on the paper towel, and it's clean. The best part about the higher alcohol is the evaporation rate. It just evaporates so much better, or faster, better. And with this, I don't want to put too much glue because I don't want it to ooze out. So it's a real fine line. Right in the center. And there it is. Make sure you get that lined up the best you can. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I had a hot screen issue, which is weird. Now, I don't see any grease at all in this felt washer, and I don't know if they're supposed to be or not. So because there isn't really any, I'll put just a little bit down. I'm pretty sure that's just a different material, basically. And it'll mesh right into the gear. Give it a nice little twist. You're good to go if it spins nice and smooth. And Then you go drag washer. And just kind of wiped off some of that grease. And to be honest with you, it looks like I could use the stock washer still too. So it'll be a replacement. It looks like it's the same thickness. Now, if it was a different thickness, you might have some tolerance issues as far as buttoning everything up, but there. And this out. I personally like to get this guy out so that it is orientated right in its spot. Because I wiped some of that grease off, I will apply a decent little coat back there. And guys, this guy's good to go. So let's slide this back on there, make sure everything's in place. Alright. There it is. There's the actual detent guide, so there it is. Short guy all the way up front. Alright. Middle guy, bottom rear. Oh. Short guys back up front. Weird. Now I don't like to button all of them up until all three is in, and make sure you do keep a applied pressure and squeezing the housings together until you button things up. And there it is. So kind of generally snug that guy up a little bit after all of them is in place. Then I will go to town with the others, and then I'll come back to this one and snug it down completely. And at this point, you can put your spool back in. You can put your side plate back in. Come on. Okay. That is no. There it is. Okay. And same orientation on these guys. Didn't flip or anything. So you just fly it back on there. Of course, everyone knows you don't want to lose anything. That's just the way it is. And this guy will be here. Kind of want to button this guy up a little bit. This thing gives you more room. This guy gets back on there. And this is usually the fun part. Getting this guy to line up and seat at the same time. There it is. So you apply pressure, back down again, make sure that this is still in there, metal tent is in there, and you got your handle. And at this point, you apply pressure, switch, and you've got your pressure on the handle instead. For me, I'm throwing my washers back into place. And my locking screw. Alright, so because this is a lefty, righty is usually tighty, lefty is loosey, the loosey is tighty, righty is loosey, which is weird to say, but it's reverse threaded. Okay. If you've got a right hand handle, it will be normal righty tighty, lefty loosey. Now you see it, I'm going the opposite direction as tighty because I'm trying to catch the first tooth. And there it is. Yep, there it is. So don't force it if it doesn't want to go in on first round. I find that these black painted versions are even painted on the inside of the threading area, so it is kind of rough to get the first thread because of that paint for the first few tighten downs. Alright, now at this point, I don't know if this does anything, but I like to tighten down my drag before I give it its nice snugging. Yes. Back in play. And loosen this drag up. That's still working. Adjustments still nice. There's no difference there. It's nice and firm. And there you have it. 2024 Titanium DC drag clicking install. And let's get to the others.